The following is a presentation of the Mat Talk Podcast Network.
You are now tuned in to the PA Power Podcast, featuring Jeff Upson and Eric Knopsnyder. PA Power Wrestling. PA Power Wrestling. Pennsylvania is wrestling.
What's going on, wrestling fans? I'm Jeff Upson, joined as always by Eric Knopsnyder. You are now tuned in to the PA Power Podcast, and we are coming at you live from the POWERade tournament in Canonsburg. What a great tournament.
Oh, awesome semifinal round just wrapped up. So many great matches there, and we still got a lot of fantastic matches, but some finals ones that are just going to be just killer ahead of us.
I know for sure that the semifinals are one of my most favorite rounds of POWERade. You got guys that open up, and a lot of tough guys meeting in the semifinals. But the finals are going to be a great show. Frank Volcano, who we talked to earlier this week, they put on a great final show with the lighting and the videos. It's just great. So and we're actually going to talk to a finalist. We're going to talk to Gavin Hoffman from Montoursville, who came away with a win in the semis over Cole Nye, battled two state champions, and he's going to have another state champion going against Jake Woodley. But we'll go through, and we're just going to talk a little bit about each weight and how we've come to where we are. At 106, our top seed, Kurt McHenry from St. Paul's, he is in the finals. He came away. He's really been untouched so far going in.
Pretty much cruised so far. 13-4 victory in the semis. Was in control the whole way.
And on the bottom half, second seed Darren Miller, who is our top-ranked wrestler in the state of Pennsylvania, he came away with a 5-0 victory over Drew Munch, who is a freshman, one of our top incoming freshmen. I was really looking to see Darren make that jump and get out and get into the finals, because I think he needed it for that confidence.
Well, what's impressive about him is I don't think he's given up a point in the tournament yet. And so it's going to be an interesting contrast in styles whenever he goes up against McHenry, who scored 13 in the semis, and that was his lowest point total so far.
I agree with you there. And, Eric, I think McHenry, just watching him wrestle, he just goes. I think he's the favorite for sure.
Yeah,
I think Darren's going to have to wrestle a very tough match. But we saw Darren down at Super 32 knock off some big names. He's capable of doing it. And like you said, he's been basically unscored upon. So I think you'll give him a match. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, he's got to try to slow down McHenry and slow that offense. Difficult task, but we'll see if he can do it.
One of the best bouts of the semifinals had to be no doubt the semifinal between Lewis Newell and Sammy Hilligus from North Hills. That was just... I
was sitting up, and if you don't know the Ken McMillan gym, it's difficult if you're up in the media row to see the one mat underneath you. So I specifically got out and went down to watch that one.
My gosh.
I had to see that one.
Heck of a match. Sammy had to dig deep to get back. He scored a takedown at the end to come away with the victory. Newell was controlling the match, I would say, in the first period, and I heard his coach and his father say, you got to dig deep. And then when he was after he got the takedown in the third to go up, Newell took neutral in the third period because Sammy is known to be just a brute on top. He punishes people on top, almost like Spencer Least. More so with the legs and not the arms, but he's able to really turn and punish a guy. So Newell knew that, took neutral. Sammy got the takedown and then just rode him out. And, for a freshman to come in here and knock out the number one seed, the number one ranked wrestler in the state, a returning PIAA state runner-up, that's a statement.
By the way, he beat Moshe Schwartz yesterday.
Yesterday, right.
So world team member and then Newell. That's not a bad tournament so far.
From the unseeded position, absolutely. And Sammy was our number 2 ranked top incoming freshman of this season, and he's not disappointed. In the finals, he's going to have Jacob Dunlop from Bell Vernon, in my opinion, just a journeyman. He's a senior at 113. He's wrestled all over the country throughout his career. And he comes away with a very tight 2-1 decision over Bo Bayless from Reynolds. And Bo was the top-ranked wrestler in the state in Double-A. So.
And Bayless was beating him. Dunlop scored a reversal at the final buzzer to win it. So, I mean, you talk about digging deep. I mean, that's what Dunlop did. He didn't quit, kept going to the final whistle, and ended up getting that 2-1 victory.
Yeah, and I like this matchup here at 113. I mean, just watching Hilgis, I think he's wrestling on another level. I mean, he doesn't look like a freshman the way he's so cool, calm, and collective because he could have panicked when he went down early, but he didn't. He held on. He dug deep, and he's so tough on top that I can't see Dunlop being able to escape that grip and that hold of Hilgis. I think it's going to be a good match because, like you said, Dunlop, his motor he never stops.
So you think Dunlop doesn't even try to go down unless, situation dictates. If you can, you try to wrestle the match on your feet?
I would say wrestle. I mean, Dunlop's he's better on his feet than he is on the bottom. So, I mean, I would say if you're going to beat him, you're going to beat him on your feet. So, but it's definitely going to be an interesting match, two contrasting styles, a senior and a freshman as well. Speaking of our top incoming freshmen, the much highly anticipated match at 120 pounds is not going to take place because Logan Macri, the hometown hero here, spoiled that fun by defeating Bo Bartlett in the semifinals. It was a really good match, 3-2 match, but a lot of action for a low-scoring match. That was another one.
No, that one really surprised me. I mean, we talked about it beforehand that, everybody was already looking forward to that Teasdale-Bartlett matchup, and it just never got a chance to materialize because Macri shut down Bartlett. He controlled Bartlett was able to control the ties, but he wasn't able to get off his shots. He did get that. Did you see the inside trip?
Yeah, the inside trip. Yeah.
Wow, I thought for sure Bartlett had the takedown on that inside trip, and Macri just kept fighting, was able to pass the leg and just kind of roll through it and fight it off.
Macri looks more and more like his older brother Dalton, the more I see him wrestling. We saw him down at Super 32, and I thought, wow, he looks big. He's really big. He's strong. He's got definition now. And I think that's a problem. He was tying up. He was closing the gap. He was tying up. He was frustrating Bartlett. I mean, he was frustrating him because Bartlett's normally able to get in and get to his leg attacks, and he's the one pushing the pace. And in this particular incident, it was Macri who was controlling the ties, pushing the pace, and he looked confident out there. He looked like, hey, I'm a junior. This is my house. You may be a newcomer, but, I'm going to spoil that for you.
Yeah, that was a fun match to watch. And then, it's kind of strange, but Gavin Teasdale's almost been an afterthought here. I mean, as good as Gavin Teasdale has been, people were saying, hey, Bartlett might beat him, all this stuff. And Gavin Teasdale just goes out and does Gavin Teasdale things, and he's got an 18-8 victory, and he's in the finals.
He's doing what Gavin does. And I don't know I personally wouldn't have said Bartlett was going to beat Gavin. I thought
I heard people talking that way.
Then they're ill-informed because, Bartlett's tough, but, Gavin Teasdale's Gavin Teasdale. I mean, yeah, the cut down to 20 was a little hard for him, I think, the first day, but he looked great in the semis.
He did. He gave up a reversal, but it was really he bailed out.
He didn't
want to get caught anywhere. So it looked like it was close at the end of the first period, but he was really controlling the match.
I'm excited for this finals match, though. I mean, people are going to say, well, yeah, Gavin's going to beat him. And yeah, Gavin's obviously favored, but Macri's he's in his own gym. He's a tough wrestler. He's got a different mindset. He's got to ride this momentum.
Well, he's got to be confident as all get out. I mean, after knocking off the guy who everyone's been talking about in the semifinals.
Yeah, he's definitely going to feel good about that. And then, like Gavin, Spencer Lee, domination. Just completely destroys. I mean, it's not even fair.
No, it's not.
He's just.
Did you see the point where it looked like for a second he might get caught on his back, and he just powered through it? And it's like, no, that's not happening.
I was on a mat away, and I heard the woo, the crowd, and I looked over, and I was like, oh no, that's Spencer.
That's not going to happen.
Not just rolling through and then getting out and putting him on his back and getting a 15-2 tech fall or 15-0 tech fall over Ward in the semifinals. So he's going to meet Jack Davis from Wyoming Seminary, who got a 3-0 victory over a wrestler from Bergen Catholic in the semifinals. Jack Davis is a national prep champion from Wyoming Seminary, actually from Pennsylvania, is from the Hanover area of Pennsylvania. And Spencer's just going to do what Spencer does, though.
Yeah,
the gap here is too big.
Yeah, I think other than what we saw at Ironman, the gap between Spencer and just about everyone in the country is too big.
Yeah, and I really don't see an issue here
with
Spencer's And I even told Spencer, I said, it's just too boring to talk about you. You just, let's go back to the World Championships.
Well,
can we do
sister
that?
Gabby told us that in France. Yeah. She said, I don't even go to the folk style because it's like, what's the point?
I know. I said, let's go back to France and where it was fun. 32, another Wyoming Seminary wrestler, returning champion, Jake Regal, formerly of Bethlehem Catholic. He was a state champion at Becca. Went over to Wyoming Seminary. He came in last year and surprised a lot of people by winning the championship over Cole Matthews last year. This year, he's the top seed. He comes into the finals with a 3-0 win over Garofalo from Colonial Forge. And, I like the way Jake's wrestling. He's pretty consistent.
I didn't get to see him at all. I was keeping my eye on the Job Chisco, Caleb Morris match.
That was a heck of a match.
Yeah, that was a
back
great one
forth.
in the lower half, and a little bit of a surprise there. I mean, Caleb Morris coming out of there as the 7th seed now in the finals.
Yeah, and he takes out the returning champion, Job Chisco. He was a champion last year at 106, and now he's obviously up to 132. But those two have been battling back and forth for years. They've been battling. They actually wrestled in the WPIAA finals when they were both at 106. And Morris he's a tough wrestler. He scrambled well in that match. He was able to get out and get that 2, which everyone thought that it was 2 to begin with, and the ref was waiting a long time to award it. And he looked solid.
Well, he's taking out the number 2 guy in Quincy Monday.
Yeah,
number 3 guy
right.
In,
And that was
Cisco, and now he's got a chance to take out number 1 in Regal. So.
I don't know if you're able to watch that Quincy Monday match that he had. I mean, but he grinded out that one. That's a huge competitor right there with Quincy Monday. I mean, that's a big win for him. I wonder if that helped him, mentally to get out to this semifinal victory. But yeah, now he's a chance to take out the top seed in Jake Regal at 132 pounds. So moving up to 138, coming into the finals is another returning champion from the POWERade a year ago is Josh Humphreys from St. Albans, West Virginia. He came away with a 2-0 victory over Luke Kemmerer.
Yeah, he was. That was a good one.
That was a good match.
Overtime.
That was an overtime.
Yeah, Kemmerer pushed him. I really thought Kemmerer was kind of the aggressor early on, but he wasn't able to convert it into points. And then Humphreys was able to lock up a cradle and get the takedown in overtime.
Yeah, I thought Luke wrestled him tough. He pushed. I thought he was in control of the match for a lot of it, and but Humphreys was able to. That overtime was all his. I mean, he was able to get out.
You're right.
And he was able to lock up that. And I hope Luke comes back to wrestle back. And another semifinals match that I kept a close eye on was the Cole Matthews and Carnell Andrews.
Yeah, that one was I believe it was scoreless or 1-0 in the third period, and then Matthews was able to open it up a little bit, got a takedown.
Yeah.
And was able to go on. I think it was 5-1. It was either 3-1 or 5-1.
It was 5-1 final. 5-1 final for Cole Matthews there. And I was talking to Mark Billett earlier before when we were shooting the match, and he said, no one can score on Cole Matthews. I mean,
well, we saw the scramble.
You watch that scramble. I mean, if you haven't seen it, go on the flow. They have the best scramble at the Ironman.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
And it was just like insane. And that's what I love about him. But Humphreys is. I mean, he's going to bring it. I mean, this is a returning POWERade champion going against a returning POWERade runner-up.
I don't remember enough about him last year. Is he really good on top? Because I was surprised that Kemmerer opted to go neutral.
Humphreys
he's
tough on top. He wrestled Charlie Lennox in the finals last year. Was able to ride him out, and I believe he got some back points out of that. So Humphreys is tough on top, but he's a grinder. He grinds out matches, and if Cole's going to win this match, he's going to have to get to his leg attacks. He's going to have to get a takedown and work the body a little bit. So Cole's never out of a match. It doesn't matter who you are, who he goes against. He's so funky and so just fun to watch.
Well, and Kemmerer was able to ride Humphreys, so that's something to keep an eye on. That it wasn't like he was out. Kemmerer really kind of dominated on top. He didn't come close to turning him at all, but Humphreys for the final 45 seconds didn't move. I mean, he was just.
And Matthews is a terror on top too. I mean, he's pretty solid from the top position. Moving up to 145, this is a 1 versus 2 seed here. The top seed, Gissendaner from Penfield, New York. He's pretty much dominated everybody he's wrestled.
Yeah, he had actually a 5-1 victory over Trey Howard of Waynesburg. But he's pinned everyone else, and I mean, just dominated here. A quick first period fall over Hinkson. So yeah, I mean, he's looked very good.
I from what I've seen of him, he's looked good. I haven't seen a whole lot of him, like I said, because the Hinkson match, I looked over. He had him taken down and in a cradle.
Yeah, he locked up that cradle on his back, and that was the end of it.
Now, on the second half, on the bottom half, Jared Verkleeren of Hempfield area, he was able to come away with let's not take anything away from this 145 field. This is a very tough 145 field. Verkleeren had to come through what I would argue is the tougher side. With Cody Kamara, who Justin McCoy took out, and even Christie from Burrell. Then he wrestled McCoy. He took him out 14-4. That's a two-time state medalist that he beat. And
and then let's go face a two-time state runner-up.
Yeah, sure. Why not? John Pippa beat Joey Bloomer. Joey Bloomer from Kiskey's going to Penn State, a former state medalist. Pippa was able to come away with a 7-4 decision. Interesting thing about that was he avenged that loss from Super 32. At Super 32, Bloomer beat Pippa, turns the table on him this time. But then Verkleeren makes short work of Pippa, winning 10-4. I mean, Pippa scrambled in that match, but really Verkleeren just looks on another level. And
this might be the best I've seen Verkleeren in folk style.
I agree. This may be last year he didn't look great at the POWERade. This year he seems to just be firing on all cylinders. And I agree with you. Folk style, this is where he's been wrestling tough, and I'm really. This finals match may be one of the best. We just don't know it yet because we don't know much about Gissendaner. I'll get that right by the end of it. Gissendaner. We don't really know a whole lot about him. I don't really know his style that much, but he's obviously the top seed for a reason, and he's destroyed the competition. So it should be a fun one here at 45.
One definitely, because like I said, Verkleeren is just wrestling lights out right now. Because you mentioned it. I mean, to come through Corey Christie, Justin McCoy, and John Pippa, I mean, that's a tough road to the finals, and he's passed it with flying colors.
He really has. So, I mean, really, coming through that bottom half was a nightmare. I thought whoever came out of that bottom was going to win it. But Gissendaner is obviously going to bring his best, his A game. So, moving up to 152, your returning champion Cameron Coy of Penn Trafford came away with an 11-6 victory over Carter Starachi from Cathedral Prep, who was a very solid sophomore, returning state medalist. Cam's a little under the weather, I believe. I saw him coughing a little bit.
And he had the neck problem before.
Well, I don't think
he was 100% for that.
Well, I think the neck's not a problem. I think he's just a little bit under the weather in a sense. And he was very disappointed with his semifinal performance. I don't know if you were able to see it, but
I did not.
He was very disappointed. I mean, just watching him get off the mat, you'd think he would have lost. Very, very disappointed in the way he wrestled. And he's going to have his hands full in the finals.
Oh,
he's going to have a very, very tough opponent. This is going to be a very close match. I think, going into this, I thought Cameron was definitely going to come out on top, and I think he still will. But this is going to be no cakewalk going in with Stephen Glasgow from Boundbrook, New Jersey.
Yeah, Glasgow nationally ranked. This was another weight class that was one of the highlight ones going in because he had a really tough semifinal match in another New Jersey kid in Shane Griffith.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one that nationally people were really looking at that one and see what's going to happen there.
Well, and Glasgow even wrestled Canada Max freshman Garrett Nyhouse and beat him 18-10.
That was
a funky match. Glasgow went up big and then sort of slowed down, and then Nyhouse was able to get in, get a few reversals, I believe, and get some points up on the board. So an 18-10 match, obviously entertaining.
Well, that's what I wonder, because sometimes you see that 18-10 and it's like, okay, did he take him down 9 times and let him up 9 times?
Right.
Or,
they battled. I mean, he got some reversals, and so Glasgow's been tested big time in this tournament, going through the Griffith, Nyhouse. Now he's going to have the one of the best in the nation, Cameron Coy. So I think if Cameron gets rested up, gets some nutrition back in him, and just feels as best as he can, I think he'll win this match. So moving up to 160, we have another showdown of returning runner-ups from the POWERade. So both of these wrestlers were runner-ups last year. Micaiah Lewis, he lost to Cameron Coy in the finals last year. Zach Hartman, who is now up to 160, he was the runner-up to Tate Orts last year at 132. So, and he wrestled 145 at the Ironman.
Yeah, we're never getting.
I didn't get to talk to him or any of the Bell Vernon guys about it, but He looks fine at 160. I was shocked. I came in the first day and was watching. I'm like, oh, man, Zach Hartman at 160. He looks like he's a 60-pounder. I mean, I don't know if he was just sucking down to. I mean, it may have been a situation where he was just, the 45 was way too much of a cut for him because he didn't have a really good Ironman. So maybe that cut was just too much, and he's like, forget it. But he's in the finals of the POWERade for a second time in his career at 160, no less.
And now he's got a really tough test, though, as you said, in Mackay Lewis. That's a tough ask to go up to 160 and face him. Yeah,
Mackay Lewis from Bound Brook is just very, very tough, ranked nationally by both Intermat and Flow. And, it's going to be a tough one, and it should be fun to watch because Hartman – he was able to come away with overtime ultimate tiebreaker victory in the semis over Travell Timmons of Lockport, and I don't know how much that took out of him, but that was a match that won for 20 minutes.
That was one of those that was underneath me, so I couldn't see it, but I kept looking up at the scoreboard, and I'm like, man, is that match not over yet?
Oh, yeah, that kept on going.
I think that went to ultimate tiebreaker.
It went to ultimate tiebreaker, it went to UTB. That's definitely an interesting matchup here at 160. Moving up to 170, this is going to be a 1 versus a 2 seed here, and Trent Hidley from Mifflin County, he had a tough match in the semis.
That was controversial. I thought that was the right call, but
that was close to a takedown.
Convince the Albert Gallatin folks that Tim Wallace
really
he came very close. He got behind Hidley.
He did a super duck, got behind him.
And was ready to take him down, and Hidley Granby threw it.
He almost Granbied before his shoulders even hit the mat. He did a standing Granby and was able to roll through it. But, man, was that close. And that was right in front of me, and I was thinking, ooh, I'd like to watch that again.
Well, whichever side doesn't get that call is going to be really upset.
Right.
I personally didn't think it was 2. I thought it was the right call, but I certainly understand the Albert Gallatin folks thinking it should have gone the other way.
Yeah, and really up until that point, Trent was doing what he does best on his feet. I mean, he loves those underhooks. I mean, he loves going to underhooks to a pick, and he loves working the body up there. Tim Wallace was able to. I mean, he's a competitor though. He's tough. I like the way he wrestles. He's tall. He uses his length to his advantage. And that last takedown or non-takedown was impressive for him to pull off. So should be a fun one in the finals because the guy he has in the finals from St. Paul's. It was. Did you watch that semifinals?
I saw
match?
Some of it. That was a crazy one because it was Dale Tiongson from St. Paul, and he went out against Gavin Wilkerson of Reynolds, and Wilkerson put him on his back right away.
5 seconds into the match.
He was going to stick him.
I thought he was done. Yeah. I mean, I really did.
5-0, and then Tiongson just comes back and dominates.
Well, he rolls through that. Yeah. He rolls through it, then turns Wilkerson on his back. It went from 5-0 to I think 12-6. 12-6,
yeah, out of the next 13 points.
It was an insane. I was standing there next to Don Schaefer from Reynolds, and we were talking about it. I was like, "This is an insane match."
Yeah.
I mean, and
it looked like not to disrespect them in any way, but whenever you see the little kids out there that are just rolling around, and at times they're just going crazy,
and your points are just scoring left and right, and that's the way it was. I mean, not saying it wasn't a sloppy match. Well, I would say that both wrestlers probably thought they wrestled sloppy, but Wilkerson was on his back and throws Tiongson off of him. It was almost like the WWF. I mean,
it was a kick out.
Yeah, it was a kick out. Oh, 1, 2. No. And then he throws him off of him and is able to get back to his feet. But it was a crazy match, so I'm not sure, really what to expect here because Hidley just he's so good on his feet. I mean, he's so good, and everyone knows what he does, but they still can't stop him. I think he has the upper hand here, but. And he's a former runner-up he's a state runner-up and a POWERade runner-up. So, it's definitely going to be a fun match to watch between these two competitors here.
Well, and as you said, he's been a runner-up at a couple different big stages. Interesting to see if he can get over that hump and get that title.
I know he wants it bad, and another guy who I know wants it bad is Nino Bonacorsi at 182. Wow. Talk about a match. His mom had to almost have a heart attack. I mean, because the way that this match unfolded. But Nino could have wrestled another 6-minute match. Literally.
Well, and that's what won it for him.
It was his gas tank.
Yeah. Because he was wrestling George Walton of Bound Brook, New Jersey. And Walton was actually up 7-3 in the third period. And I actually had it ready to tweet that, Walton knocks off Bonacorsi. And then the next thing I know, it's 7 to I think it was 7. It was 7-6.
Yeah, it was 7-6,
and Walton
and
took
then
an injury time. His second,
and then
so
Nino's
the choice,
and he escapes
and
right away gets in on the leg.
Yeah,
boom.
As soon as he got up, he was in on the leg. Attacks, gets the takedown, ends up with a 9-7 victory. What a match!
And Walton scored the opening takedown very, very early on. I think it was like 10 seconds into the match.
No, that would have been a minute. I think it was a minute in.
A minute into the match. Scores a takedown. Bonacorsi is able to escape. And then the second period, I thought, okay, Bonacorsi is going to turn it up a little bit. He escapes, but then Walton gets right in on the takedown.
Yeah, late takedown.
Late takedown, and but he had a stall warning. And then the third period was when Walton just fell apart.
He did.
But at one point, Nino was pushing the action so hard, Walton actually snuck in and got a takedown. And you saw Nino hit the mat. He took his hand and he hit the mat in frustration because he's upset about giving it up. But then he escapes and gets that stall call and then the injury.
Yeah,
obviously
that was huge. Taking that injury
time because then it was his choice. With the rules now, if you take that injury time for that, you're able to get that choice. He was escaped, got right in the takedown, just rode him out. I mean, what a competitor.
Yeah, I love great heart there.
Great heart.
Great gas tank, as you said.
And he's going to have Cody Mulligan from Sagertown. This is a familiar opponent for him. These two wrestled at the King of the Mountain a few weeks back at in the semifinals. I can't recall the final score. It may have been a 4-2 match. Like I said, I can't remember the final score exactly off the top of my head. But Bonacorsi was able to control that match. But Cody's... He's tough. He's as tough as they get. He was
able to take out Jacob Hart of Independence, West Virginia, which is doing pretty well here.
Yeah.
Was able to control that match pretty well in an 8-3 victory.
Yeah, I think, and Bonacorsi's coming off, he didn't win the POWERade a year ago against Austin Bell. He won it when it mattered at the Whippeals, and I know he really wants that POWERade championship. He's been coming to this tournament for a very long time, since he was a kid. He really wants that championship, and I think it's going to be a good match, but I think Bonacorsi comes out on top. Now the big one. The big one.
Yeah.
The one everyone had circled, starred, highlighted, the 195 bout that happened here. In the semifinals, well, they were pretty good. Now, actually, Hoffman came away with a 10-2 major decision over Cole Nye.
Yeah, he really looked good.
He turned it on. I mean, he exposed.
This is a battle of state champions, and he gets a major decision.
And we're going to have a chance to talk to him in a few minutes as soon as we're done wrapping up here, and he can talk us through everything that he was thinking going into that match and what he's looking forward to most in the finals. But yeah, that was a battle between two state champions. Cole Nye is coming down from 220 to go to 195, and Hoffman just turned it on. He was able to score a cheap 2-point and back point, and then really it was all him. I mean, Nye never really was able to get to his offense.
Well, we talked about it before. I mean, Nye doesn't have a ton of offense, but he's really difficult to score on.
He's very difficult,
so
and he
Hoffman
scores all
the
those shots.
10 points is really saying something. When you can put up 10 points on Cole Nye, you can score on anyone.
Yeah, I mean, when he opens up, he has good offense, and you heard his coach, Coach Hortensios, yelling to him, "You got to open up. You got to open up. Time is now. The time is now." And sometimes he wrestles better when he's down, as we've seen before in the past. But it was too much to come over with Hoffman. Hoffman was just in really good position. There's only one time when, Cole was trying to do the roll. He tried to sit out and roll, and then Hoffman just sort of bailed and gave up the escape. But I was impressed with Hoffman, able to get some back points and really take it to him. So this sets up for a great finals match, because that top seed, Jake Woodley, were you able to see that semifinal?
I did. I concentrated on that one, and Woodley actually gave up the first takedown to Anthony Walters of Bishop McCourt, but he was able to come back and just keep pecking away, and he actually was in on Walters a couple times. Walters has very good defense, not a ton of offense there, and Woodley was able to capitalize and get the takedown and come away with a 4-3 victory.
Yeah, he, again, sort of like Cameron Coy, he didn't look happy after that match. I thought in his mind, he thought he should have put some more points up on the board, too close for him, for his liking. But again, Walters is no slouch. I mean, that's a
he's
state
so big,
runner-up,
so
and he's
strong and solid defense.
Do you think he's a true 95-pounder? Do you think? I mean, I see him more as an 82-pounder personally.
He'd be a huge 82-pounder. I know
he's short though. He's short.
Would have talked to the family. They're saying it's still undecided.
Yeah.
Whether I don't know what he's weighing right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's got arms and
he's got legs and arms.
Right. He's not
but
tall.
He's not tall.
But
right.
he'd be a tank at 82 this year.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm thinking. So, but regardless, Woodley and Hoffman are going to battle. Now, these two saw each other down at the Super 32 back in the fall, and Hoffman was able to come away with a victory there. He scored the opening takedown, and then just sort of that was it. They didn't really wrestle. It wasn't a really exciting match. I don't know if you remember it from the Super 32.
Yeah, I do, and I'm looking forward to talking to Gavin and getting his thoughts on getting another chance to face Woodley again.
Because this is a different Jake Woodley.
Yes.
I mean, that was his first time wrestling at 95. It was right before he committed to Oklahoma. And, I think this is a different Jake Woodley, stronger, bigger. This is his weight class. He likes his weight class. He's said it before that he wants to stay 95, and he's a state champion last year for 182, and he's moving up. And he was a runner-up last year at POWERade, so he doesn't want to have that sour taste in his mouth twice now. He doesn't want to have to finish second twice at the POWERade. Hoffman was actually fifth at the POWERade last year at the same weight. So, wow, this is going to be a fun one. Yeah,
this will be a really fun one. Hopefully we get a little more action than Super 32.
And I think we will. I'm hoping we will, because there was, after that opening takedown, it was just a lot of half shots and a lot of getting stuck underneath and stalemate. So I think after watching Gavin put up 10 points on Cole Nye, I think there's a safe bet that we're going to have some points scored in this one.
Yeah, hopefully we do get some action and just, not freeze up in the finals there. Just keep going.
Another Bishop McCourt wrestler, another returning state runner-up, Josiah Jones. He came away with a 3-1 decision over Francis Dugan.
Yeah, this was impressive to me. Dugan, definitely a proven commodity. Josiah's an interesting case because I don't think a lot of people know. His freshman year, he had a serious knee injury. He missed the majority of the beginning of the season, and then he got to the regionals. Did well in districts, got to regionals, and blew out his other knee. And he was he had beaten a lot of tough guys there. Yes, he had.
His freshman year, knocked off a few guys who actually went on to qualify and place at the state tournament.
Right.
So Francis, on the other hand, is a 2-time state medalist. He was at Cumber Valley, then North Allegheny. Now he's at Cedar Cliff. And he wrestled Josiah Jones in the semifinals. This was a 3 versus 2. Francis was a top-ranked wrestler in the state at 220. Second to he was one ahead of Brian Kennelly from Upper Moreland, who beat Josiah Jones.
Right.
So, obviously we're going to have a flip-flop there. Brian Kennerly's going to be moving up, much to Lewis Baker's pleasing. But Josiah Jones came out with, I thought, a very big victory because I didn't think he looked great at King of the Mountain.
No, I know you said that. He didn't look good there. And here he was solid. Dugan, I didn't really think got a whole lot of opportunities, and Jones capitalized on the one he needed to for a 3-1 victory.
Did you see the Dugan's leg?
Yeah.
It's banged up bad. It's bruised bad.
that might be.
He is. Just seeing him walking around. He's not in good shape with that knee. So hats off to Francis for coming out and competing.
And maybe he doesn't even come back after this. Maybe
he may not. I don't know because that knee looks bad.
Those spots on the podium are nice, but once you're already in the consies, a lot of times it's better off just to say, you know what, let's just get healthy and move on.
Right. And, Francis, I know, is going to come back and wrestle tough the rest of the way. Josiah Jones is going to have the top seed here, Noah Adams from Independence, and he's really just the top guy.
He is. He's Flow Nationals champ. Very good guy. Had a bit of a tough time in the semifinals there.
Daniel's a tough guy from Good Counsel. Brady Daniel, they had a nice bout there, but he just took it to Tyler Cook from Brookville in the quarterfinals, 16-4, and that's no slouch either. So, I like Adams in this match. I just think he's poised for a championship title, and like you said, he's been on the big stage before. So. Another, I love this year because I'm so excited about the heavyweights. And I'm very rarely excited about the heavyweights. But
Ronald Tucker's just a fun guy to watch.
He's entertaining, man. He's
high energy,
last year after he won the POWERade, he did a bow. He bowed twice to the crowd and sort of did a little sign off there. As a freshman, a freshman. And you look at him, you're like,
he's got some personality.
He's got some personality to him. He's got some weight to him.
You look
but
at him,
moves.
He's not the most imposing looking guy.
Not
you
at
look
all.
at him, he doesn't look like he's going to be a POWERade champion as a freshman at heavyweight.
But he can move. I mean, I saw him bouncing around, shadow boxing, and he looks like he's having fun the way he wrestles. And he's a solid. I mean, fundamentally, he's not just big, but he knows how to wrestle. Technically, he's a good wrestler.
Little mean streak to him though too, because he and Kwan DeBow got a little physical in this match. It went to overtime, and they were butting heads. They were getting nose to nose. So he looks like he's a fun time guy, but he'll grind and he'll put his face in there and not back down.
Yeah, and Kwan DeBow from Cathedral Prep's a sophomore, just like Ronald Tucker. He's a returning state medalist for Erie Prep, and he was the 4th seed, and he was ranked pretty high in the state coming into this. He comes away, Tucker does, with a 2-1 victory, like you said, in overtime. But the match that I was most intrigued about was that Isaac Reed and Brandon Furman match. And this is a rematch of a week ago. These two wrestled when Kiski and Kandamak butted heads. These two wrestled, and Isaac was able to come away with a win. He got the takedown last week. But this time, the tables were reversed.
What's that Kandamak magic, man? You get the big Macs here in their own gym. And Furman able to get a couple of takedowns in the third period and pull away for a 5-3 victory.
Yeah, after a scoreless first period, Furman was able to get an escape, and then Reed answered himself with an escape tied at 1-1, and then boom, Furman gets a takedown, and then gets another one after Reed escapes. So he showed some offense. Getting those 2 takedowns on Reed is huge because a lot of people don't take down Isaac. So he's very tall. Now you look at this Brandon Furman versus Ronald Tucker match. You look at it and you're like, well, this is a no-brainer because Brandon Furman's so big and so huge. But you got to be careful with Ronald Tucker. Ronald Tucker is a tough, very, like we said. I mean, technically he's a good wrestler. He doesn't put himself in a bad position. Brandon, I know, is really, 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 really wants this POWERade championship in his home gym.
I don't know. I don't know if I can see that magic continuing, though. Tucker is just, like I said, he's got something to him. There's an energy. There's just, an ability. I know he didn't put up points here, but I like Tucker in this one.
Okay. Well, we will find out soon. Joining us now, Gavin Hoffman, Montoursville. Just came off a really big semifinal victory over Cole Nye. It was a battle of 2 returning state champions. Gavin, let's just talk about the match a little bit.
It was kind of what I expected. I knew coming in that it was going to be a close first period. I was going to have to open up more as the match moved on, and that's just what I did. I just kept my offense up, and I knew at the end if I just kept that up, then I would be the one to come up on top.
Now you were able to get you got some what most would call cheap 2. You got cheap 2 points. Talk about did you think you had the 2? What position did you feel like you were best in there?
I was when I got on top, I knew that I was just confident in my top game. I know that when I get my claw or high half hooked up, then I know I can pretty much turn everyone. And the 2, I didn't really hear a count, so I was I didn't realize I had the 2 count until he got an escape and I saw 2-1. I was raised my morale a little.
So that gives you more confidence, and whenever you're able to turn them there and have the lead, and then just kind of go on and build from there.
Yeah, whenever I wrestle, I love just building the lead. I feel like as I build a bigger lead, I just wrestle better. I feel like I'm more confident. I open up more because I know if I get caught and reversed or something, then I'm still up and I just have the match in my control.
Now you didn't stop there. You kept on putting the pressure on. You never really let off the gas pedal, if you will. You continued to push, especially on your feet, trying to get your slide bys and what was you actually turned them again when you're I think the third period, right? You just felt like you broke them there.
Oh yeah. It was kind of going into the match. I was not really upset, but it was time to make a statement because he went down to my weight class, and it was if someone wants to come down to my weight, then I'm gonna have to make a statement and show him what's up. And I feel that's what I did. I just didn't want to leave off the gas because I just want to rack up as many points as I could.
I like that. You're taking ownership of the weight class, saying, hey, this is my weight. You're coming down here. You got to beat me. Do you like the attention that 195 is getting in this tournament with all the big names there?
Oh, yeah. I was super excited. When I saw, like, all the entries and I saw that the coup and Mackenzie was coming, I was like, if you add – I know they didn't show up, but still, if they were in that weight, then that would have been brutal. And I was really looking forward to wrestling them, but kind of upset they didn't make it. But still, really well competition. I'm looking forward to wrestle Woodley again. That's just a match I love wrestling him. So.
Yeah, talking about taking ownership, Jake Woodley himself won the state championship a year ago, down a weight. He's up this year to 95. And you two, we were able to see down at Super 32. You guys wrestled. You got the opening takedown there and basically just cruised. Jake, in my opinion, looks a little bit bigger than he did down at Super 32. Were you able to? What's your mindset going into the finals?
It's more like that last match. I can't really reference that because he's a whole nother wrestler now. I have to mostly open up more, not be content with just a 3-2 match. I want to put points up on the board, win or lose, and I just gained the mentality of I just want to have fun. The score doesn't really matter. All I want to do is just have fun and open it up.
I love that attitude, especially, finals in a big tournament like this. Sometimes guys kind of freeze up. They don't want to give up anything. They don't want to make a big mistake. I like that you're going out there and saying, hey, I just want to go out and score points and see how it turns out. Oh,
yeah, that's pretty much my mindset been all since like last year. I mean, freshman year I was just tight. I was a little scared, but now I just gained confidence and I just learned that win or lose, it doesn't matter. I'm just getting better and better, and I tend to wrestle like a lot better. If I'm just not nervous, I'm calm, and I just go out and like to put up points.
What's the quote that your dad always says? Win or lose, as long as you improve.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
we were talking before the match, and he was saying you got to whether you win or lose, as long as you improve. And definitely with that match with Woodley, I think you both will improve. I think it's a great test for both those wrestlers early on. Talking about just your future, I was surprised to see you down at 90 because I thought you looked really big. Has it been tough to cut down at all?
Yeah, I know last night I got back to my hotel room and I was 3.5 over. So I spent a late night, not too late, but in the sauna, running, just getting weight off. But it's good. I feel really well at this weight. I feel like this is the best weight I can compete at. I know 220 up at Fargo, I didn't really accomplish what I needed to, and I knew that I needed to get my weight under control. I was gaining too much weight, and just my gas tank really showed that I just needed to be at a healthy weight where I feel good and I wrestle good.
Well, and that's the tough part for guys at your weight, bouncing between 195 and 220, because you go to college and there isn't that buffer there. You either got to go 97 or heavyweight. So is that something you've been thinking along the lines of, looking at college, and you want to be a 97-pounder in college?
Yeah, like the colleges I've been talking to, they said that even for 97, I'm a little bit small still. So it's more of like college, they cut weight. They don't go up in weight. So I know that if I just get just take care of my body more and just start to lean out and just cut out bad food, then I could really tell it's improved my wrestling just by being at a healthy weight where I feel good.
Now, what's the end goal here? I mean, you already have a state championship. You had talked about Fargo. You didn't do as well as you wanted to. Is that the ultimate goal, is to get some recognition on the freestyle scene?
Oh, yeah. After the season this year, I'm going to do what I did last year, like flow NHSCAs. But after that, I'm going to go into freestyle, and I'm going to try to make the cadet world team. I'm going to try to make, I think it's 86 kilos. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to try, and it's looking really good that I can make the team. I'm not sure who I'll have yet, but I'm just really looking forward to that. It would be a great experience if I can make the world team this year. You have a lot of,
you've had a lot of freestyle experience, especially in your youth. Do you feel like when we talk to a guy like Spencer Lee, he loves freestyle. He lives it and breathes it. He would rather wrestle freestyle than folk style. Do you have that mentality? You really enjoy freestyle?
Oh yeah, I actually like freestyle more than folk style. It's just that folk style, I would say I might be a little better at because I'm good at scrambling, but freestyle, I enjoy it a lot more because if you have someone that's not that good, you can just tech them in like 10 seconds. Where folk style, it's a lot harder, but I just love freestyle mentality of you're always vulnerable. Like, you could get put to your back anytime, and I just love that kind of wrestling.
All right, Gavin. Well, we appreciate it. We really looking forward to this matchup with you and Jake. Battle of, you already took out one state champion. Now you're going to have another state champion. So it's really great for the sport and for Pennsylvania. So I'd like to see who's king in '95. So we appreciate you joining us, Gavin.
All right, thanks for having me. Thanks.
All right, thanks. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us at the PA Power Podcast. We appreciate you tuning in and listening in to our POWERade preview of the finals. Love this tournament. Love everything about it. And if you're here, be able to make sure you stop by our table. We got shirts and socks, and we got some girls there that want to say hi to you, as well. So it's a fun tournament. Love this. Basically here for 3 days straight, and I think we're having a good time.
Oh, absolutely. Great wrestling, phenomenal event, and can't wait for the finals.
Tune in to PAPowerWrestling.com for all your updates, rankings, news, whatever you want. We have it. If not, we'll get it for you. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram, and we'll be checking in soon. Thank you.